What's up, fellow Funcoland alumni? I'm back and I've got another surprise for you guys.
Welcome to the Funco accessory instructional video. As you all know, this is our ever-popular Nintendo deck. When purchasing these, take a good look at the deck. You want to make sure that the power and reset button work. You want to look at the controller connections. You want to look at the audio and video connections. The AC input, the channel 3/4 switch, and the RF input. If these are damaged at all, please don't buy the deck. Make sure that the garage door opens and closes and isn't all busted up. Put your finger in and make sure that the tray will seat down and release. You might even want to look inside and make sure that the connections are not damaged. Cosmetically, this one isn't in too bad a shape. It's a little bit dirty here, and on the grate here. We can clean these up. It'd be nice if you could also, but I would buy this one. It has a nick out of the corner here and back. That's okay as long as the whole deck isn't cracked. If the whole deck is cracked, please don't buy it. Now when it comes to using these decks, you may have to clean them almost every time. They're getting to be 10 years old. The contacts were not very good in these decks to begin with, and they start oxidizing very quickly. To clean the decks, you take our standard cleaner, put some fluid on it, and shove that thing in there and let it rip about 10 or 12 times. Take the cleaner and clean off the cleaner. So you can see I'm getting a lot of dirt on already. Because of that, I'm going to put this cleaner back in there and clean it 10 or 12 more times. Some of the dirtier decks, you may have to do this 3 or 4 times to get it to work. Even some of the better decks, you may have to clean the deck every couple of games just to get it to work. The games are the same way. The contacts start to oxidize very quickly, and you may have to clean them each time you use them. So please clean the decks before you defect them out. The Super Nintendo and Sega decks, you need to look at the same things on them as you do the Nintendo decks. All the controller connections, the AC and the RF, and the channel 3/4 switch on the Super Nintendo deck. As far as cleaning, they don't need as much cleaning as the Nintendo decks. The contacts are made much better inside. What you need to do is take your cleaner, put a little cleaning fluid on it, and put it in gently 2 or 3 times, making sure that the cleaner is in place before you push it down. Improper use can bend the pins, then you have a really defective deck on your hands. This is the NES Advantage joystick. When purchasing one of these, make sure that the joystick portion does not crunch. If it does, that's a bad sign. Both connections plug into the Nintendo deck. If the slow button is pushed, the screen will blink. When using the knob, there is not excessive shakiness. These are both Nintendo Competition Pro controllers. When purchasing the black one and testing it, make sure the slow button is off. The other 2 buttons are in the normal position. These buttons can be a little bit on the touchy side, so make sure that they're not stuck between positions. This is the double player. When using both controllers at the same time for 2-player action, make certain that one switch is in the 1 position and that the other switch is in the 2 position. Ultimate playing distance is approximately 5 feet. As you stand further away from the sensor, there is a delay time involved in all the controls. This is the Epix joystick. Game Genie. These must come with the book. Also, the plastic strap must not be broken. These are Nintendo game holders. Some of many. Anything over 10 is large. Anything 10 and under is small. If the plastic is broken in any way, we can't fix it. This is the Joy card. It has the name in the upper left-hand corner to identify it. Its best playing range is between 5 and 10 feet. Make sure the TV screen has been cleaned and that the lens in here is also clean. iPad, easily identifiable. These are 4 of many Nintendo miscellaneous joypads. Please note that this one is not the standard Nintendo controller. It does not say Nintendo on it. These are 3 of many Nintendo miscellaneous joysticks. When testing these, again check for crunching in the joystick mechanism. Max joypad. This is the Power Glove. It must be purchased with the sensors and the manual. If it's ripped or frayed along the edges at all, that would be bad. This is the Quick Shot Round. This is the Nintendo Satellite. It must have both the transmitter and the receiver. If batteries are still in it after you test it, take them out. This is the single wireless. When using, make sure that the on-off switch is in the on position, and take the batteries out when not using. This is the Star Master joystick. This is the Super Controller. It must come with either the knob that is shown or a small joystick. This is the U-Force. It must come with all 3 pieces shown. This is the Ultimate Joystick. This is the Whizmaster joystick. It must come with a joystick attached. It can come with either the hardwired connection or a remote. What is shown right now is the hard connection with the cord on it. This removes. You can put on the transmitter for the wireless. If it is bought as a wireless, it must come with the receiver. This is the Zipper Controller. It comes in many pretty colors. On to the world of Sega Genesis accessories. This is the ASCII pad. This is the Compro 1, the Compro 2, and the Compro 3. They are all bought and sold as Sega Genesis Compro. This is the control pad 6-button. This is the dual turbo and 1 receiver. The controllers must be in either the player 1 or player 2 position and don't store with batteries inside. This is the fighter stick. This is a 4-player adapter. These are the Just Fire guns. Just Fire 1 has a Sega connection. Just Fire 2 has a phone connection. Yeah! This is the Megafire joypad. You can tell it's a Megafire joypad because it says so. This is the Menacer. It comes with the main unit, 2 eyepieces, and a receiver. These are some of the many miscellaneous joypads. These are some of the many miscellaneous joysticks. This is the power base converter. It will allow you to play Master System games on the Sega Genesis deck. This is an example of a Master System joystick. It uses the same port as a Sega Genesis joystick. Do not buy any of these as they will not work with Sega Genesis. This is the power clutch. This is the power joystick. And this is the power stick button, power joystick. This is a Game Boy AC power supply. This is the Game Boy 7-hour action pack. This is a Game Boy Fire. This is a Game Boy battery pack. It must come with the AC adapter plug, which plugs into the top. It is quite useless without this. This is the Bright Boy. This is a Game Boy car adapter. This one happens to be a universal car adapter. It can be used for Game Boy or Game Gear. In the case of this one, where it is universal, it must come with both plugs. This is a Game Boy carry-all. This is the Carry-All Deluxe. This is the Carry Case Compact. Carry Case Large and Carry Case Small. The 4-player adapter. Game light. This is the Handy Boy. What is this? These are headphones. This is the illuminator. So, Light Boy. Link. Fighter Stick SN6. Make sure that all of the buttons are in the left-hand position when testing and that the slow switch is in the off position. And make sure it has a Super Nintendo connector. This is the dual turbo controller set. It comes with 2 controllers and a receiver unit. As with all wireless controllers, do not store with batteries in the controllers. Super Nintendo AV wires. Make sure that the cord isn't frayed and that Rover hasn't been chewing on the end of it. This is one of many, and that the TV screen is clean. Optimum range is about 5 feet. This is one of many miscellaneous joypads. One of several miscellaneous joysticks. This is the Street Fighter II joystick for Super Nintendo or Nintendo, and it must come with both cords. This is the Super Advantage joystick. Make sure the slow button is in the up position. This is a Super Game Boy. It's a new product and has been reported by Nintendo to have some bugs and is not guaranteed to work with all games. This is the Super Scope. It comes with the main base unit, a sensor, a battery cover, 1 sight, and the eyepiece. And always take the batteries out. Sega CD1 kit. It comes with the main unit, an AC power supply, large plate, small plate, screw, manual, and mixing cable. The CD drawer does not open automatically on power-up. You must hit the start button to open it. This is a Sega CD2 kit. It consists of the main unit, 4 plates, 3 screws, a mixing cable, an AC adapter, and a spacer, which is used only when in use with a Sega 1 deck. This is a universal car adapter. It can be used for both Game Boy and Game Gear. Please note that the connector has several different types of tips.
Use of tips. That's pretty cool.
This is the Game Gear magnifier. Super wide gear. This is the master gear converter. Please take a look inside and make sure that the pins are not smashed and crushed. Turbo twins. This is the TV tuner. Please make sure that the antenna is not broken off. It will not work with some of the newer Game Gear units, so if it doesn't work when testing, you might want to try it on an older unit. This is the wide gear. It says so.
The two main aspects that you want to follow when doing a pullback are make sure that all the games are in order, both alphabetically and by system type, and also use some type of packing materials that's going to prevent shifting of the games in the box. Anything will work. Crumpled up newspaper, the peanuts or packing materials that we send you your weekly ships with, or you can even use bubble wrap. Here's an example of the type of labeling that if we want our pullbacks to be having. We've sent you the labels that you're to be using. You can see that they have a spot for what store it's coming from, the address of the store. It's got our address already on it. Has a spot for how many boxes are coming back to us, and also a spot telling us what type of pullback it is, and a spot for the ITF number. Here we have an example of a greatly done pullback. As you can see, the packing materials that they've used, such as a bubble wrap on top, which prevents the games from shifting around, is done on top. We've got cardboard placed on the sides that prevent all the other games, even though the box isn't totally full, it's preventing the games from shifting around. All the games are in alphabetical order, and they're separated by division, so it makes it real easy for us to count and check in.
Here's an example of how quite a few of our pullbacks are coming back with their decks and components packaged. Actually, they're not packaged. They're coming in, there's no packing materials used. Everything's just sewn together. The cords aren't wrapped. As you can see, the CD unit there has got the door open. Many times the door is just going to get snapped right off, which we end up having to effect out the whole unit. Use a little bit of care, use some packing materials, peanuts, crumpled up newspaper, anything. Now here's an example of how we would like our accessories and components to be coming in. Cords wrapped, packing materials used so that there's no load shift, which will help keep the cords wrapped.